What is going on, guys? Your boy Jay is here, and I know it's been a minute since I put out a video, but today was the day I just was in a great mood, and I was like, you know what, let me just throw something together last minute and really try to catch up, because a lot of stuff has been going on with me personally, and it has really affected like me being able to put out videos, so I'm sorry about that, guys. But we're gonna get started, and we're gonna jump off into the AskJaySama. So this week, Balls Deep asks, where or who taught you how to edit and make videos? Well, nobody really taught me how to make videos, but, you know, it was one of those things where when I was in college, at first, well, let me back up a little bit further than that. When I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go into entertainment. I knew I wanted to go into like some type of performing. I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I didn't have a name for it back then. And my dad actually showed me this like recording school or whatever. They had film recording and video games and stuff like that. Little did I know it would be financially one of the biggest mistakes of my fucking life. But when I went, I was learning how music is produced, music is made, mixed, mastered, how it works for film, and I really fell in love with that. I really fell in love with the portion of like basically like making sound effects with your keyboard and stuff like that and putting it into movies, making explosions, Foley, ADR. I liked a lot of that stuff, and I was like, you know what, I could really get behind this. And so a lot of my classmates were asking me, because they knew I was like dabbling in Photoshop, because I wanted to like do art and stuff like that along with the music that I was making, and, you know, trying to, you know, work on projects with like film majors and stuff like that. And they didn't know how to use Photoshop very well. So I was like, you know what, let me kind of be a jack of all trades and learn how to use Photoshop. So I ended up kind of dabbling into that a little bit, and then going from Photoshop and then going to Adobe Premiere, and then going into Final Cut, and then going into Nuke, which is like for special effects and stuff like that, and then going into After Effects, and then going into just all sorts of stuff. Like, I had like learned one after another, and it was just a great like way to dive in. So originally I learned Photoshop, and then I just got intrigued with everything else, and then so now I make videos. I've edited entire shows before. I used to work for this company. Well, I interned for them, and they did a lot of edits for the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you guys aren't familiar with that show, it's a Fox show. Hilarious. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I got to be a part of those edits. And one other thing, when I used to intern at Sony, I got to be a part of The Amazing Spider-Man. So I was in the editor's room, in the editor's bay, I guess you could call it, in the dub room when it came to, you know, making the closed captioning and stuff like that for the movie. And I got to watch and participate in like how the lizard was created, like how he didn't have a snout, but the original he did. He had like this like gnarly looking snout, and it was like, it was a great experience, and I knew that's what I wanted to be around. Now it's kind of shifted a little bit, because the more I've done YouTube, I realized that YouTube is doing stuff in the background, and I want to perform now. So that's why I'm like going into like, you know, trying to do comedy and acting and stuff. So just to answer your question, it was Photoshop that really got me started. So the next question, will you do a sexy anime girls of the week? To be honest, the sexy ladies of the week ended up stopping because I got super busy with a lot of stuff. I could respark it now, but there's like a whole lot of stuff that I just didn't really do. So I just couldn't keep up with it because I was too busy fucking around every week. And now that I'm a little bit more serious about doing stuff, I'll probably bring something like that back. But I don't think anime is not my forte. You guys know this. I don't really mess around with anime too much, so, you know, it's not like I can really offer anything. So the next question comes from Kendrick. If you had to cut one person on Game of Thrones and bring back one, who would it be? That's strange to ask, because obviously when this question was asked, the previous season didn't air. So if I had to kill anybody and bring back anybody, I would want to bring back Tywin Lannister, which was Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion's dad, because I've just felt like he was a great dynamic to the show, where he was just this strong iron fist that nobody fucked with Tywin. Nobody. And then he got murdered taking a shit. And then one person I would probably kill, Melisandre. Melisandre has to go, man. Like the Red Witch. Yeah, bro, she's got to go. I can't stand her. Anytime she's on the scene, bro, I'm just like, what is she about to do, man? She got to go. Like, she always trying to mess up something. So that's one character who has to go. The next question comes from Demonical. He asks, how do I edit videos? That kind of goes into what I was saying for Balls Deep's question. I edit videos every day. I work on stuff every day. So it's not really, it's never been difficult. Learning new things has always been difficult, but like, I don't know, like trying to do a green screen type situation. I don't have a green screen anymore. I have a blue one, but I don't have a way of setting it up. So I set up this black one because it just made a little bit more sense. I liked it this way. So let's see, the next question from Dragon Emperor. Do you play Fate Grand Order? See, I started playing Fate Grand Order probably a few months ago, and I just really couldn't, like, the tutorial didn't really like hook me, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't attract me. I mean, I love the Fate series. I love all of the Fates except for the new one, Apocrypha. I haven't seen that yet. Probably because there's just too many lollies for me, but that's kind of like my personal thing. I just don't dig lollies. I'm sorry if you do, but I don't. And I just couldn't get past the tutorial because once I did, it was like just a shit ton of information. So I think I'm going to stick to Naruto Blazing Dokkan and Duel Links. The next question comes from The Summit is Typing. He asks, do you like Heavenly as a friend? Honestly, Heavenly, he's a great guy, man. Sometimes he can seem like he's being a little selfish, from my personal experience, but I've known the guy for 3 years now. He's been a really good friend to me. You know, he helps me with my YouTube channel. He helps me with my personal stuff. We hang out, we go see movies, whatever. Like, yeah, he's a pretty dope friend, you know? Would I want to continue playing Overwatch with him? I don't know, man. He gets really testy when we play Overwatch because he's just like, I can only do everything. And it's like, nigga, it's a team game. Like, I don't understand. So, no, but he's pretty cool. Let's see. Young Blaze asks, thoughts on Futanari? I don't want to talk about Fudas. I don't want to talk about Fudas. No. I mean, if you like Fudas and it floats your boat, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I've had my fair share of like Fuda interaction on Hentai Haven once, twice, maybe several times. But I mean, it's not really something, I don't have any strong opinions on it. So it's not something, no. And then next question, Reese asks, how do you feel about the Vegas shooting? What's your thoughts and opinions on being a black male in America? Because I personally find the shit a struggle, but what about you? You know what, man? That's a difficult question. As far as the Vegas shooting, it's fucking, obviously this is old, but it's fucking tragic, dude. Like, just, I can understand if you don't want to live anymore, but don't take other people with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's some real fucked up shit. And I don't want to get like too political or anything like that because it's not what I do. I don't do that yet. I mean, we'll see. Time changes everything. So, you know, it's fucked up, man. You know, like, these are not things that should exist in the world. These are not things that we should even have to think about in the time period that we live in. Like, if you really think about it, like, if you think back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the internet was just really starting. Like, there was this huge thing on the internet. Don't use your real name on the internet. Now, we are literally giving people our real names, our phone numbers, our addresses, strangers on the internet, so they can come and pick us up in their cars to take us somewhere. Like, that is just the progress that we have seen as a society in such a very small amount of time. And then obviously, like, airplanes, technology, smartphones, stuff like that. It's crazy to me that people still have some, what I believe to be, is ass backwards thinking. Like, you know, the fact that people will sometimes use different religions and stuff to justify the things that they do. Not saying that everything is bad, but I mean, I don't know. When something includes murder, fam, I don't know. What type of holy being wants you to murder shit? Like, that doesn't seem, oh no, I'm not okay with that, fam. And then Reese, to answer the second half of your question, what are my thoughts and opinions on being a black male? Honestly, it's really difficult because I've been pulled over by the cops twice, and both times I feared for my fucking life. Not saying that oh, they're gonna shoot me or whatever, but just because that's such a sticky situation where I'm nervous, because I'm sure anybody who has been stopped by the cops and either accidentally or on purposely killed, like, they weren't expecting to get killed that day, you know? So it's not something I think about a whole lot, and unfortunately I should think about it, because when me and my girlfriend would like do stuff and I would get mad, I would like burst into flames and just, no, da 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 da, and I'd be yelling and I'd be really loud, and I'd also notice that there were cops and other people looking around, and that's not a very good perception. So being black is obviously, it's difficult. I don't care what anybody says. People can have a different opinion on certain things, but if you're not within the realm to even give your opinion in the first place, which means if you're not black, I don't know how you can tell me how to feel about being black. But it's one of those things where I have to be careful. I have to be more personable with people. I have to be very, like, I don't want to come off as aggressive a lot, even though that's my personality, unfortunately. So I fight against that every single day. But there's a lot of growth that I'm making as a person that I feel helps deal with that situation. So in other words, like, to give you a short answer, it fucking sucks. Like, it's definitely hard to get a job. It's definitely hard to prove yourself as an individual. It's definitely hard to kind of go up against this perception that people have against you, even perceptions that are positive. It's just like sometimes people will just assume things in their head even though they won't act on it, or sometimes people will assume things and they will act on it. So it's a fucked situation, man, and we kind of just have to do the best we can, you know? So the next question comes from Gaming Goku. How do you deal with uneducated fucking parents who don't understand the damn law and don't understand that things aren't as they were when they were kids? Honestly, when it comes to parents, Goku, there's no reasoning with parents. It's just not, it's not happening. It's not a thing that you do. It's not a thing that, don't expect it to be a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, don't expect to get something out of your parents, because it's not gonna happen. Like, your parents are really just, they were raised a certain way. Like my mom doesn't understand the concept of owning your own business. Well, she does understand the concept, but she's just like, that's not for me. You know, I want to work my day job or whatever. And I'm like, you could maximize your potential to make money, but that's just not where she's at. You know, she's not down with that. So hold on, let me actually close this and then move that over there. There we go. It's actually, it was better the other way. Yeah. We'll leave it like that, and then let me open OBS and then minimize it so there's less white, but just as much. There we go, whatever. So, you know, it's not one of these things where you have to deal with them. You kind of just say, okay, and just move on, because any of the lessons that you learn that you want to ask your parents about that they don't know, they're going to be a little uncomfortable with talking with you about. Like the fact that you can make money in your underwear on Instagram, you know, like that is a thing. You can make money from home now. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to have a day job if you don't want to. That wasn't necessarily the case 30, 40 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, sometimes it's difficult for them to cope. Sometimes it's not something that they're down with, and you just have to be accepting of that. So I'm sorry if that's not the answer that you were looking for, but you kind of just have to put your head down, say okay, and then deal with the rest. So let's see, we're gonna skip Killas because it's a Tootsie Pop question and nobody really knows the answer to that. Slim God Kaneko, my boy, he asked, what type of mic do you use? Well, without getting like too into it, it's a mic that I built in college. It is a Shure SM57, 58. So I'll just show you guys. It is a normal performance mic. You're supposed to use them for like concerts and stuff like that, but I have certain, the way I soldered the cables in here and the amount of foam and extra padding that I put in here, I use it for indoors, obviously. So I built this mic when I was in college, and it's held up until then. I have an extra one. The hardest thing to build was the fucking cables, because it uses a mic input, which I don't have any cables around to show you guys, and if I unplug it, then my whole system will fuck up. But it's like, look up an XLR cable and you know what I mean. So that's the type of microphone that I use. It's not a USB. And then, so the XLR goes into my Inbox Mini, which is basically like a mixer. And then that has USB power that's connected to my computer. So that is That's how that works. And then for the last question, Demonical asks, are these questions ever getting answered? I mean, yes, bro. Yeah, they're getting answered right now. So, but one last question. Soul says, what do you think about the creators of Dragon Ball Super? Do you think it should be erased, or do you think they just need new writers? I think you mean writers, but Dragon Ball Super has as of October, it wasn't as good as it is right now. Like the Kefla fight was really good, and then obviously the Jiren fight and the Ultra Instinct and all that. I mean, honestly, it's just more Dragon Ball. Like, sometimes I'll be expecting to get drama out of this show, and I realize it's just a brainless shonen. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't expect to get too much out of it, and I don't expect to get almost nothing from it. So, but that's all the time I have for today, guys. This turned out to be a 15-minute video, and I really just wanted to make like an 8-minute video. So if you guys have any more questions, my link to the Discord is down below in the description section, as well as my Patreon, so you guys can support me, because now that you know I'm really trying to do this shit, I need you guys' support. So even if you only donate $1, or if you can't donate anything, share it with somebody, share the channel. We're just trying to grow, okay? So, but this has been your boy JustJaySama. I will catch you guys next time. Make sure to keep it canon.